My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake.
Welcome, and good morning. A happy South Lake morning to you. I know most of us are probably sheltering in place. That's the best word I can come up with for it, sheltering in place. We're here in our homes trying to get done what we need to do. I am actually on my porch again. The weather, it's probably not optimal, but I figured while it's on the line, it's almost a little muggy, too muggy, but I figured while I can, I will. So if the lighting changes, it's the sun going behind a cloud. Bear with me because I'm trying to just enjoy the day. That said, also, if you hear children playing in the background or, something going on, it is Joe because I'm in my backyard and I live in a close neighborhood. Which reminds me of my gratitude check. What is the gratitude check today? Look, I want to say before I get into mine, what are you grateful for? Are you making a list, a couple of 3 things every single day that you're grateful for? If you're really smart, you make that list and you make sure you don't repeat anything over a 3 or 4 day period. You'll be challenged and it will make you feel better. Today, I am grateful for neighbors. Yesterday in the middle of making my phone calls, I have a neighbor really close, and I live in a duplex actually, and my neighbor somebody brought him a couple of cases of mushrooms and tomatoes and lettuce. And the first thing he did was bring me some because he said, well, it's way too much for us. And so I know you cook and you could have, I had tomato salad for lunch. I had cherry tomatoes in some pasta salad last night. It was just the perfect thing. I'm really grateful that there are people out there thinking of me. And here in America, here in Lake County, we're just one great big group of neighbors. If there's anything I can do for you, reach out to me. And I mean anything. Certainly, it never hurts to ask, and if it's in my power, I will help you get it done. All right, that's gratitude check. And what is the deal of the day? I think Arby's is being very grateful for their customers. This deal they have is 5 for $10. You get 5 sandwiches for $10. That averages out to $2 a piece. You can feed a whole family on that. I know that when I go to Arby's, I'm lucky if I can get through 1.5 if I don't have any fries. So I want to encourage you, go on down to Arby's, take advantage of that deal. And, they got a lot of, one of the best pitas in the area is actually sold at Arby's. So if you want to have a gyro, you can take yourself over there and grab a gyro when you get the 5 for $10. Look, take advantage of this deal. Put some in the fridge. They reheat really well, too. All right. Today we are going to hear from Anessa Jones. The last time she appeared on the show, I believe her name was Anessa Hunt. She has gotten married over the holidays. And I wanted to bring Anessa back on. She did speak about the United Way the last time she was on, but I wanted to bring her back on because COVID-19 has affected the way that they pass their services out. They are really in a situation, and they're doing some very incredible things for the community. I wanted to make sure we got her on to let the community know and local businesses know what she's doing. So we're going to go to commercial break. When we get back, we're going to be joined by Anessa. I'll see you in a minute.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Life is better when you're smiling. At Modern Orthodontics, Dr. Alan Wong has changed thousands of lives helping patients achieve the modern smile with braces and clear aligners. Utilizing digital scanning technology, Modern Orthodontics creates in-office 3D models for clearly modern aligners. Modern Orthodontics is conveniently located in Claremont, Apopka, and Bushnell. Call or text us to schedule your free exam and create your modern smile today.
Are you tired of having drugs or alcohol ruin your life? Do you need to get off pain pills but still maintain pain relief? My office in Tavares has programs to help you. While not covered by insurance, program fees are affordable. My name is Alan Zupkin. I'm board certified and have helped thousands of patients achieve these goals. Please call me for further information.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
And welcome back. Like I said before, we are joined by Anessa Jones from the United Way. Anessa is an incredible friend. I've known her for, 3 years now. We've done a lot of work on the chamber together. She's constantly in the community. I'm going to actually read her bio this time. Anessa relocated from Stockholm, Sweden, here to Central Florida, where she's been an active resident for over 20 years. She comes with 20 years plus years of leadership, promotional, and professional sales background. Anessa currently serves in the role of campaign director with the United Way of Lake and Sumter counties. She heads up major campaigns with corporations, local community organizations, works with event planning and volunteerism. Her educational background is in human services with an emphasis on nonprofit. Anessa continues to educate herself by actively pursuing the executive coaching program under the mentorship of Mrs. Marilyn Donnellan, who has over 30 years of experience as a nonprofit CEO and consultant. She's actively participating in the Harvard Mentorship Program, developing stronger leadership and community skill sets. Anessa is not a fundraiser. She is a catalyst for change. The reason I read all of that is because I absolutely love that last line. She is a catalyst for change. Anessa, so good to have you. How are you guys doing?
Oh, it's a busy time for us right now. Locally, United Way is seeing surges increase in the community. As you know, Joe, we serve 2 counties, Lake and Sumter counties, and that's a large demographic, and it's a very diverse demographic that we serve, but we're seeing surges across the board due to what's currently going on in our local community.
So how has COVID changed the way you're reaching the community?
COVID has changed our impact quite a bit. We are definitely having to take in more phone calls. People are trying to reach us through different resources that we have, and we are seeing a huge surge in those needs impacting our organization immensely just in the last month. I mean, we've doubled, almost tripled the request for needs in what we normally have.
Now, why is the, oh, I'm sorry, that's another question for later. Hang on, I'm getting ahead of myself. You talk about reaching the community, and I'm sure you guys are having a struggle not just with businesses. I mean, are you seeing a change in the donations? I mean, have people backed off on the money they were giving, or
when you're thinking about, in my perspective, I do work with some companies that are able to step up. A lot of times, the ones that are stepping up are your larger companies, and I'll mention them here later. But when you start talking about your smaller businesses and your smaller organizations, their impact, their concern is most for their employees first and foremost. And we understand that. To go out right now, I'm not even thinking about campaign. I'm not thinking about fundraising in that capacity. Right now, the biggest thing is making sure we're getting safe messages out to the community. The biggest thing is letting the community know, stay safe, practice social distancing, still stay connected. And we're trying to look at emergency fund resources that are out there. We're trying to look at grant programs that are out there during these times that are willing to work. Because you have to remember, Joe, your nonprofits is a big part of what sustains our community, period. And
I wanted to ask, because I'm sure at the same time those small businesses don't have the dollars anymore to contribute. I mean, at least in the short term, many of their employees are now the ones who need the services.
Right.
So you're not just seeing a reduction in dollars, but you're seeing an increase in the amount of people who need the services of the United Way. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. And in just conversations with, our local food pantry, Faith Neighborhood, I talked to Trish Cry the other day, and she's doubled in the amount of families that she's handing food out. So that means, what does that mean to our nonprofits locally? We're going through our resources at twice the speed that we normally would. And we have to remember that some nonprofits will not be able to sustain themselves during this economic time. And they are a big part of what supports a lot of need in our communities.
Right, right.
So,
let me ask you this. Well, go ahead. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, it's just, it is a time that my messaging is, if you are able to give those emergency donations, that's wonderful. We also have a lot of other needs. Food drive. How do we get food out? I mean, our pantries, when their food starts getting depleted, how do we get more food to our food pantries? How do we get more services out to those rural communities for those senior citizens that have been volunteering, going out to those rural communities? And are you still there, Joe?
I'm there. I'm here.
My phone paused, sorry. But those senior citizens that have been volunteering to go out and deliver food, they're not doing that right now. So we're going to see a surge in a need for volunteers now that can step up and willing to go out in the community and help us deliver these meals and deliver food out to these elderly and shut-ins now. So we're seeing a shift.
You can find, I want to encourage people, if you feel safe and young and healthy, if you're not part of the at-risk community and you've been sheltered in place for 14 days, you can reach out to some of these places and see how you can help as a volunteer. I'm sure volunteers are even our volunteers are practicing social distancing, but reach out to some of these places like New Beginnings and Faith Neighborhood Center and Find, Feed, and Restore. Reach out to these places so that you as a member of the community can maybe use some of the time you don't normally have to help out until they can get back to normal and get their regular volunteers back.
Even for United Way, we're in those trenches because we are going to need those volunteers for these organizations, because even for me to try to get a food drive going, we've got to also practice safe. We've got to have safe practices in place.
Yep.
We can't put employees at risk.
Yep.
Yes, if an employee is coming into work and they want to donate an item that could go into a pantry and it's safely stored and it stays there until we're able to get that distributed, that's one thing. But I don't want to put anyone at risk, and we really do want to encourage safe distancing, safe practices, plenty of hand washing. That's key and crucial at this time.
What do you think is the biggest concerns the community has during the coronavirus?
There's a huge conversation piece about layoffs. We've seen a huge surge in the amount of layoffs that we've seen. We've got to remember Walt Disney is one of our biggest employers in the Central Florida area, also one of the biggest contributors during the United Way campaigns. To see them not up and running, and you've got a lot of average wage earners that work at the Disney location, they're going to be in need, And what rings more to me than anything is, I do my campaigns every year. I'm out talking to the community about raising funds. Those funds sustain us during normal times, but those are not funds that we have necessarily just for what's going on right now. This is not the pandemic. It's not something that I don't think anyone was really prepared for.
Right.
But we are at very high levels trying to talk to those in those levels, trying to get those resources going. And just trying to say, hey, don't forget your nonprofits at a federal level. We need funding too, because we help sustain your communities that federal funding doesn't go into. And you've got to remember, you've got a homeless population. You've got different minority groups that are being impacted. You've got a lot of individuals that are those blue-collar workers. They're not slowing down because of coronavirus. They've still got to get up. They've still got to go to work because maybe they work in an essential field. And we have to really say, our police officers, our EMTs, those are our heroes, our nurses, our doctors. These are the people on the front lines fighting for us so that we can remain healthy and safe. So United Way desperately is trying to work with the different organizations, look at those different resources so that we can continue supporting the community as much as possible.
I think, too, that as you pointed out, that it's worth saying that, a lot of people that are still getting a paycheck, they might be fine personally for now, and a lot of people have prepared. There are people that will be fine, but the truth is, even if this particular shutdown is not impacting you financially as far as keeping your head above water and making your payments, it will affect you long term when businesses don't survive, when businesses, you look at Walt Disney World, right? They could hire everybody back as soon as the quarantine stay-at-home order is lifted, but that doesn't necessarily mean the same numbers of people are going to be traveling to Disney, right. Which means all those hotels and all those restaurants surrounding Disney that are supported by all the people that come in to go to the park. And I'd say Disney, but, SeaWorld and Universal, all of them.
Well, Central Florida is a very heavily populated area for tourism. So we have to remember just tourism in general. Florida is a high retirement state. A lot of people relocate to Florida because of the beautiful weather. So we have transit. We have a lot of transit people who move here from different parts of the country, other parts of the world. And we do have a heavier impact than maybe some other parts of the state economically. We do have a heavy impact here.
Right, yeah, because if you're in Jacksonville and a big factory shuts down, it is if you have a place with 800 employees, it shuts down, and they're still paying their employees, even if they're not. Those employees have been furloughed. They're going to be back. And, as soon as they're back, they're producing right away. Whereas something like tourism might take a little while to pick back up. I know I'm reading a lot about how the airlines don't expect to be back to full service for at least a year, which is great for prices, but not necessarily for all those services that would support the airline. So let me ask you this. There's obviously a problem, and we all know that it's that it's bad everywhere. What is the 211? Tell us what 211 is and how it can help.
Well, 211 is a service center where individuals can call in. They can actually let people know in the call center, hey, I'm a resident of Lake County, and what resources or what information can you provide for me at this time that I can utilize or reach out to? So that individuals who are needing some kind of assistance or needing direction, that's what 211 represents to our community. And that is what we're trying to accomplish. And I am so sorry, Joe. I've got multiple calls coming in from all different directions.
That's all right. I struggled with the same thing.
My phone's already went off twice, and I've already got another person trying to intervene with this here conversation.
That's all right.
Let
me. So all people need to do is call 211 and tell them what their needs are, or will 211 just give them a list of services that are available? Is it kind of like an interview system?
Resources. Yes, they're going to provide resources. Experience in long time calls is very important for people to understand right now that you may call in, but the calls may take a little bit of time. They do go into their database. They do look at resources. They do look at what area you're from to provide you lists of nonprofits in your community that you can look into. We still,
But it's actually a person, right? It's a person that'll determine your situation. You're just not going to get some big useless list of resources. They're going to be targeted resources for your situation.
They're the resources that we keep updated for our community just for these cases, okay? And it is a person that will be speaking to them. the reason it's taking longer is what normally has been a 5-10 minute phone call is turned into 20 to 40 minutes. Because understand, even if we don't have all the resources for them, people want to talk to somebody.
Right.
People want to feel comfort. They want to know that there's hope at the end of the rainbow. They want to know that they're feeling someone's understanding where they're coming from. That's so crucial at this time with what's going on. So 211 is a vital resource for us right now. And we also do, through the 211 call center now, we are taking in calls for those individuals who are finding themselves a bit short on maybe their rental assistance, a bit short on maybe their electrical assistance. And I got to give a huge shout out. Duke and Seco has been working astronomically well with us. Our power utilities companies have been working well with us. Publix is working strong with us because Publix also does a lot of supporting when it comes to housing funds and emergency funds. So I got to give a huge shout out to those companies and many more. SunTrust, which is now Troy's, just offered up over $2,600 to emergency funds. Huge shout out to South Lake Community Foundation that Kathy Smith heads up.
Oh, they're great. I love them.
I can't say enough. Kathy's an amazing person. That whole area, I can't say how hard that community over in the Claremont, South Lake area, they work hard for everybody. It's not just about them. They understand the needs stretch beyond just that area.
Anessa, I don't want to cut you off. We need to go to commercial break.
Sure.
We're going to go to commercial break. Anessa's going to be with us when we come back. But when we come back from break, there's a message from the CEO of the United Way that we're going to play real quick. So don't go away. Stay tuned. Find out, even if you don't need help, you may need this information to give to somebody else you run across that does. So stay tuned. We'll see you in a minute.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Burgerum, located in the Epic Theater shopping plaza on Highway 27, is the premier destination for gourmet burgers. Using only the freshest ingredients, Burgerum offers a variety of burgers, salads, wings, and a whole lot more. Beef, chicken, lamb, fish, and even veggie. Burgerum has something for everyone, no matter your dietary preference. Burgerum, millions of possibilities, endless combinations.
The best things in life aren't items we can grab and hold. They are the moments that grab and hold us. Moments that captivate us, inspire us, and enrich us. Moments that bring joy, strength, and peace. At Sing Insurance and Financial Services, we help you to treasure these times by being there when life's most difficult moments arise. Through our services, you will find independence, flexibility, health, and security that will prosper and protect your life. Whether you are driving that new car, buying that new home, opening that new business, or building a new family, we provide you the peace of mind and freedom to enjoy life's best things. Your next moment is waiting. Are you ready?
From United Way, Blake, and Suffolk County. This COVID-19 has hit us all very hard, and unfortunately many of our folks are beginning to panic or get a little stir crazy being at home. I just want to encourage you to let you know But United Way is working with our government agencies as well as our other nonprofits and our businesses and corporate partners, and we will overcome this. I just encourage you to take a moment, to take a deep breath, and realize how blessed we are to have all the assistance that we have here. And while there are some shortages, they will soon be replenished. So let's together understand that we need to take care of our families and our neighbors, and we will overcome. So I encourage you this time to enjoy your family, play games, play cards, go for a walk, call your neighbors, make sure they're okay. Because when we work together, we are connected and we're united, and we will be able to ride this out. So enjoy the time that we have, but take care of one another.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
"50 West, pre-leasing now in Claremont. A first-of-its-kind commercial development in the Southeast. Contact us today to reserve your...
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
And welcome back. That was such an inspirational message from the CEO. I really, really appreciate that. You know, Anessa, it must have been tough for you guys moving into this. You probably had to do some quick thinking and some fast acting to prepare for this. Is that correct?
Yes, we have been doing research for resources, grant websites to send our nonprofits to as resources. We are looking for small business emergency resources for them to be able to access. So we've been doing a lot of resource, trying to find resources for our community. We've started putting on different hats in our office of what we're working from home, but we are adamantly taking active calls and trying to see where we need to direct people and how we can still get them assistance with their rent or utility assistance electronically. So we've got all that set up so that if someone does need assistance, we're able to do everything electronically and remotely now.
So tell us what, now I understand that you guys as of yet, nonprofits in general have not been specifically mentioned by any of these bills. So you guys are pretty much on your own at this point. What is Family Wise?
Family Wise is a prescription service, and what that does is that gives individuals discount on their prescriptions that they might pick up at Walgreens or CVS. We were able this past year to raise over $1 million in savings throughout our community.
Wow.
Now that we're going into this pandemic and the uncertainty, things like this, every dollar counts, every dollar that people can use and save. This is very important. If you want to get more information, please go to our uws.org website. There should be something on our website about Family Wise so you can actively use this. All you have to do is be a resident of our community. It's a free resource for people to get discounts on their prescriptions. But it is something that we are still using and we are still pushing in the community because right now that's a resource people will probably need just to be able to get more discounts on prescription and medication during these times, especially because some people might have lost some of their insurance benefits during this time. So
are some of your resources medically based as well? I mean, somebody feels like they're sick, but they don't want to go to the hospital because they can't pay the copay. You guys have resources for that sort of thing as well?
We actually don't. Family Wise focuses more on the prescription medication part. But
as the United Way, do you have resources you could refer people to?
There might be set up through family stability services, something of that nature. I do know that we're putting messages out to the community to call resources and talk to someone medically rather than go into a doctor's office. There are different things like that we're posting. I urge people to stay up with our Facebook postings and our website, just so that people can see what we're putting out there. That people,
I was just going to ask you about that. Is that obviously you aren't out in the community, as in knocking on doors and visiting businesses. It's people don't have an office. The best way to find out about is that the best way to find out about updates is through your website and through your Facebook page.
Facebook page and our website is what we're currently actively putting up. I conduct meetings through Zoom, Messenger, so I do live meetings, and moving forward, I'll probably do more presentations that way as well. I mean, there is ways to reach people. It's just we're adjusting to meet those needs differently.
And you're not, so obviously you're because you can't go out and meet people. Excuse me, your campaigns have come pretty much to a screeching halt. How are you reaching? And I know you're talking about emergency monies. When you say emergency monies, do you mean from businesses that have emergency funds they're willing to pop in? You and I talked earlier about how you're burning through money.
It could be an organization that provides grants during times of a need like this. It could be someone who is a philanthropist who, says, hey, I may not be able to volunteer my time, but I can contribute enough of a sum to make a difference.
Right. And at this point, any sum makes a difference.
Any sum. Obviously, you have individuals who have the ability to impact the community on a strong level. And again, we are reaching out and asking, those are the individuals, if they can find the time and see the need, we do need those funds, emergency funds. And so when I speak of emergency funds, I'm speaking on that level that our needs are changing because of what's going on. This is not, and we've got to remember, we're also entering into hurricane season. So this is...
that's right around the corner, yeah.
So what's happening is most nonprofits have emergency funds. But what happens is those emergency funds typically are for your normal population and maybe hurricane season. But what happens when you get a pandemic and now you still got hurricane season?
Right.
You're getting hit with double whammies.
So let me ask you this. We know, because we're in a political season, we know that that the big buzzword is small contributions. Frankly, is that something that if somebody wants to help, where do they help? Where do they donate? I mean, if 1,000 of us donate $10, that's $10,000, right? I mean, that's a major contribution for you guys.
I will tell you, $10,000 can be stretched pretty far in our community. I mean, $10,000 can help anywhere from 20 to 40 families just with rental assistance.
Right.
$10,000 can go quite far. So
so let me ask you this: we make a donation. Does it all stay here in the local community? Does it go to Washington D.C.? No. So tell us how that works.
If you go to United Way of Lake and Sumter counties and hit on the donate button, we have something called COVID-19. You just fill your information out there. That is to stay within our United Way here locally, and that is to go back into our funds here. We are in dire needs. We cannot, it's not that we don't want to, but we cannot support another community. We have to take our funds and keep them here in our local community. And that means we're going to be supporting our internal programs that are at risk right now, supporting things like Family Wise, our 211 call center, supporting things like our community partners to keep them up and running. You listed out some of those community partners that we work with and we issue grants to, earlier. So we know how important those programs are to our community. They put roof over people's head. They put food on people's table. And some even work with getting people employed. You've got your Lake Tech, your Lake and Sumter Community College. One of the things that I'm doing as an initiative I'm launching with Lake and Sumter College, we're creating hope posters. And I'm asking them to put that in the windows of their homes. We're going to take a picture electronically, digitally download that. And we've got a little contest going to see who gives out the best. If this catches on, we want to continue creating hope throughout our community. So I'm going to be speaking to someone this week about creating a platform that people can go in, put up their favorite Create Hope poster, thanking our different, companies that are helping us. We can give you a list of who those are with United Way, and we're trying to create hope. Right now, that's the message that we're trying to get out. Going to our Facebook page every day, we're constantly uploading, keeping people up with what the county is saying, what the governor is saying. Governor DeSantis came out with, he's changing things, the stay-at-home order, and then what's essential businesses, what's non-essential businesses. So we're trying to keep our community informed so that they know how to, or know what's going on, because if they're complying with staying at home, maybe they're going out once a week for their errand, maybe they go to the doctor like they're told to, or they're going just to the pharmacy, or they're just going for grocery shopping, but they're staying home the rest of the time. We want to just keep them up with what locally is happening in our community and let them know we're here. We haven't went anywhere.
I did want to say, too, that I'm sure you deal with this, is that, there are people needing help that have not needed help before. And there is no shame in needing a hand when something like this happens. Many times you can't predict, nobody can predict this kind of thing. Obviously, the government was taken by surprise. Not that there could be a pandemic, but it became so worldwide so quickly. And I want to encourage people that, we will come through this. There is an other side. It sucks going through the bad part now, but I just want to encourage people. One of the ways you can get through the bad part is reaching out and asking for help. My life changed many years ago when I realized it didn't make me less of a man to ask for help. In a lot of ways, it made me more of one. So can you speak to that at all? Do you see that there are people reluctant to ask?
When we look, yes. Obviously, you're going to have individuals who they really want to try to do it themselves, and it may not be a possibility. And especially for someone in it's the first time in their lives they've been in a situation like this. And a lot of people do have resources. They will get through this, and some will burn through their resources a lot quicker than they plan to. So we can plan. We can have everything in place. It only takes one or two things in life to change all that.
Right.
Right. And right now, the major focus, the major need is stay home, take care of yourself, be wise, take care of the people around you. Be cautious of, a person can be asymptomatic, carrying the virus, not feeling any of symptoms, and give it to somebody whose immune system is much more vulnerable and much more susceptible to getting the virus. And so we have to be cognitive of individuals around us. Like I said, I only go out maybe once a week. I have an elderly mother I'm taking care of who's stage 4 metastatic breast cancer patient. And she'll be 88. She gets through the pandemic, she turns 88, and it's a blessing. I mean, this woman is a complete saint during all this. If she wasn't, it would make it very difficult to manage from home with her, But it's an adjustment for a lot of people. I've had to make major adjustments through this. I never thought I'd be sitting in my mother's kitchen taking care of her and working and adjusting my life like this. My life, I'm at my mom's kitchen. It's not my kitchen. It's my mom. And I'm not alone. There's a lot of, we've got to remember how many people are on the front lines, how many EMTs, how many firefighters, how many people are on the front lines dealing with this every day and putting themselves at risk and their families too, just to fight the fight. So these are major critical times for a lot of people.
Well, I think it's important to remember that life does go on, right? Even in the midst of the pandemic, your refrigerator's gonna crap out, or your stove is gonna go bad. You're gonna get a flat tire. Things are still gonna happen. People are gonna get sick that have nothing to do with COVID. Right? I mean, some of you, you may freak out. Try to keep calm until somebody tells you it's time. I tell all my customers in real estate, I make them look me in the eye in the beginning, and I say, look, I don't want you to worry until Joe tells you it's time to worry. With this COVID thing, you shouldn't be worrying until a medical professional tells you it's time to worry. With that said, it is important that we don't inundate ourselves. It's so easy to inundate ourselves with the idea that we are in a pandemic and everything's bad and everything's coming down. Life is going to go on. There is another side. It is not as far as we think it is. And to help keep that, to structure our lives now to prepare for that is probably the best way. And I tell you, I've encouraged people all the time. I'm starting to see stuff on Facebook and on the internet. People talking about, I'm going to change some things so that I'm prepared if something like this ever happens. Maybe this will be the thing we need to go from a nation of spenders to a nation of savers, which actually makes us far stronger than we are now. Anessa, we're running out of time. Can you give us any last thoughts or anything you want to direct us to?
Your local United Way is on the front lines with the community problems. We're very much aware of what's going on during this crisis. And, we want to ensure that first responders are acting swiftly. We're wanting to make sure critical information is getting out to the public. And we want to help with a long-term recovery. We're not Red Cross. We're looking at the long-term period of this. So when it comes to the COVID-19 pandemic, government, public, health officials, they are working with our United Way to look at what our experiences, what our network capacity is. So for our local United Way, 211, it's vital. It is available 24/7. It is a resource for your local residents. It's not something that is going to anywhere else. It is all kept local. Please know that. So the resources that we're referring you to are for local, and we are trying to keep updated information out on the media. So keep up with us on www.uwls.org, or go to our United Way Lake and Sumter County's Facebook page. Make sure you're keeping daily updates on what we're doing, because we are trying to maintain these guidelines. So we urge everybody, local and to just respect those local and state guidelines during this time, and please use social distancing so we can resume back to our normal lives, and we want to recover together as a community stronger than ever.
Good. Thank you, Anessa. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you for being a guest on Joe Knows South Lake. I think keeping in mind with organizations like yours that are doing such good work and also feeling the financial crunch. Doesn't mean the work goes anywhere, but sometimes the finances do. Look, if you want to help, you can go to any of those things and donate. It's not hard to find where to help. If you're that guy with $100,000 you're wondering where to send it to, now is the time to donate into these kind of services. You can really impact your community, and with an organization like United Way, really stretch those dollars. All right, and we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, Joe's final thoughts and Cup of Joe. We'll see you in a minute.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
Check out these gourmet deals from Burger & Claremont, like our daily deals. Milkshake specials. Kids eat free. That's right, kids 10 and under eat free every Monday with purchase of an adult combo. Choose from delicious protein combos like beef, chicken, lamb, fish, veggie, and even the Impossible Burger. Milkshakes are buy one get one free Monday through Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. Stop into Burger & Claremont today to take advantage of our daily deals, like the Monday Crispy Chicken Combo, the Tuesday Falafel Combo, the Wednesday Angus Beef Combo, and the Thursday Spanish Beef Combo. Gourmet deals from Bergram Claremont, located just off Highway 27 and the Epic Theater Shopping Plaza. Bergram, millions of possibilities, endless combinations.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
And welcome back. Look, that was fascinating. And I know sometimes the COVID subject gets tedious. You know, I can't watch the news for more than 15 minutes a day. But it's one of the reasons that I want to cover some of these other subjects, because they're not getting covered. Okay, the nonprofits in the area depend on our dollars, and the funny thing is, the dollars that they have coming in come from a lot of the people that now just don't have an income, whose income has been reduced. So I want to really encourage you that, you know, if 1,000 of us donated $10, that's $10,000. Think about that. She was talking about how a large corporation donated $2,600. That'd be 4 times a large donation. If 10 of us could donate $1,000, and 100 of us could donate $50, that's $60,000. They will carry a thing like the United Way locally through the next month or two in this pandemic and provide dollars that couldn't normally be provided. I want to encourage you, if you have the money, and maybe maybe United Way doesn't melt your butter. You know, maybe it's something else. Maybe you know of a food bank. You'd like to donate directly to Find, Feed, and Restore, who houses people, or to the Faith Neighborhood Center, who feeds people, or for New Beginnings, who brings the homeless off the streets and teaches them how not to be homeless. I want to encourage you. Put your dollars to work, even if it's only a few bucks. You know, there is a spiritual principle that what you reap, you will sow. I have never failed to make donations that didn't, over the course of time, come back to me in 100-fold blessing. And that's a whole spiritual message we can get into. But just suffice it to say, giving of yourself and what you have is important. And at this point, I think even though we're struggling, $10 is something we can give up to help somebody less fortunate. So, all right, and with that, I want to talk about the Cup of Joe. Today's title is As Soon As. You know, I know a lot of people that are engaging in a lot of things that they're going to do as soon as this lockdown is over. As soon as the lockdown is over, they're going to take part more in their church. They're gonna go to PTA meetings. They're going to start a prayer group. They're going to or right now they're starting habits, you know, where they're posting on Facebook every day, and they're getting their Instagram up and running, and you know, they're posting on that. I just want to caution you, don't overextend yourself. This lockdown is going to end, and at some point your life is going to go back to normal. If you commit to anything, you may have all the time in the world now, but at some point, sooner rather than later, you're not. Do things you need to do, projects you can accomplish and finish that will make your life easier or better when this is over. Don't commit to 20 things that are going to require an ongoing commitment that you're not going to have time for. You'll be disappointed when you have to quit, and the people you've committed to will be jammed up. So don't fall into the disease, the as soon as trap. All right. With that said, I want to say thank you for joining me on Joe Knows South Lake. I want to thank Anessa Jones. Sorry, married name. Anessa Jones from the United Way. I really, really appreciate her. And I just want to say that, you know, as she has been bringing her, if you know somebody who should be a guest on Joe Knows South Lake, let me know. And again, I'm still looking for that parent-teacher combination that we're in a regular school and are now dealing with distance learning to hear about some of their experiences, challenges, and successes. So if you know any guest that should be here, let me know. Oh, and we are hearing next Tuesday from Congressman Ross Spano, who's going to give us an update on what's going on as far as the government is concerned, some of the updates of the new bills, some of the way that they're fixing the hiccups that have gone on with the payment protection plan for businesses and the individual support. So you schedule it, be ready for that. We're going to do that. And finally, as Anessa's using her greatness to bring out the greatness in others and touch the world around her, I encourage you, there is greatness inside you. Use your greatness to bring out the greatness in somebody else. Touch a life, you will change the world. You may never see the change, but it will change nonetheless. This has been Joe Carlisle and Anessa Jones on Joe Knows South Lake. I will see you tomorrow, and I love you. Bye-bye.
My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe Knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: